Hi everyone, Renee Frith, Director of Horticulture and Sustainable Landscapes here at Bernheim Arboretum and Research Forest. Last fall we visited the Visitor Center rain garden bed. We were installing this garden at that time, and if you recall, we did a plug planting demonstration. So these little plugs were planted last fall, and they have now turned into some wonderful upright, almost 2-foot plants. So spring is a time of renewal, and with that comes weed pressure in your garden. Before you reach for those chemicals, and I hope you don't even reach for them, you can do some quick editing. And I like to think of weeds not as something so bad, all right? They serve a purpose. They hold soil temporarily. Their roots help aerate and break up some compacted soils. And then when it's time to pull them, you want to look for one strategic thing, all right? So think of it as flowers are good, seeds are bad for weeds only, all right? So I don't want them to reseed and repopulate the seed bank, so I want to get them in the flower stage. So one way to do that, this is your best tool, soil knife. You can measure things, you can cut things, but it's got a really sharp point, it's stainless steel, and you can easily pop up weeds that you don't want. And it's just that simple. You can put those right in your compost pile and have more soil for next year. So how do I know where my plants are versus where my weeds are? So it looks like this could get very confusing fast. Well, one, I keep a map. So I have a map of where I planted all of my plugs last year. And then two, I follow that map and I say this bed area right here was Retivita. So Retivita is the upright prairie coneflower, and this cultivar is red midget. So in time, it'll get really tall and have a red flower. It'll be absolutely gorgeous. So I plant these on about a 2-foot center, and in between, I just remove the weeds. It's really that simple. It doesn't take a lot of time, and it's very rewarding practice. Afterwards, if you have a lot of bare soil, you can just add some mulch. So one thing we want to keep in mind about perennial gardens is the first year they like to sleep, meaning they like to get those roots established. They will kind of bulk up a little bit on their shoots. The second year, which this garden is in its second season of growth, and then this is where it creeps. And so you'll see more shoot growth, a little bit of upright, but mostly it's starting to fill out, and your garden's really coming to life. And that third year, which will be next year, and we'll come back and take a look, it'll leap. And when it leaps, it is in full bloom and it is absolutely magnificent. So just looking out over this rain garden that we have here, we've got a lot of plants that are starting to creep, and I'm really, really excited about it. Some plants of note are giant coneflower, that's Rudbeckia maxima, Iris versicolor purple flame, which is a gorgeous purple foliage, purple flower iris. That's in the wetter sections. We have some Amsonia hubrichtii, and it is in bloom right now. And then one of the grasses that I am just enamored with is Calamagrostis, the cultivar Carl Forrester. Very upright, feathery seed head. I always say it looks very amber, that seed head, and when it blows in the leaves, I think of amber waves of grain. So it's always great. I sing that in my head. And then one other plant that I am just really stoked about is Echinacea pallida. And so that's a coneflower, Echinacea, but the petals of this hang down instead of fanning straight out. So come check this out in bloom. Later in the summer, we'll have some flowers, and I hope to see you soon.